guys. So it's been a while since I've done a long video. I've been writing more so than um, just because my world was rocked, and writing is the best form of therapy for me. And once I feel like I've kind of gotten to some semblance of functioning, I said I would do a video. And in the moment, I feel a bit normal. So I thought I would take this opportunity to do a video. And I know that this is not like a platform for grief as in other forms of grief, but it is important to talk about because you know, when you have a stroke, it is a horrible obstacle course that you have to get through and learn your new life and what that looks like depending on your outcome. And it's stressful. It can be depressing. You feel like you just want to give up. It just varies from person to person depending on the circumstance of how it happened. Deficits. It was Russian roulette with your life in that moment. And guess what? We were not the ones to go. We made it. And so there's that survivor's guilt as well that accompanies a stroke. And as time goes on and you start to evaluate your life and what it looks like, and you start to pick on, like, certain things that maybe you didn't enjoy in the past that you want to enjoy, because you're looking at it as, this is my opportunity to live my life, because I was given a second chance. Sometimes it takes people a long time to realize that, and other people realize it immediately. For me, I realized it quickly, but I knew that I had a lot of mental health work to do on my side, because just saying, oh, it happened, and moving on, it doesn't work that way. It will haunt you, as I've said, down the line unexpectedly. So for me, it's better just to rip the Band-Aid off and allow myself to feel everything. And to this day, I still have to do work on myself with it. And as long as you are being intentional and trying to make the best of your situation, that's all that matters. Because you gotta remind yourself that you have loved ones, you had neurosurgeons, you had like the works of people who tried to keep you alive, and they succeeded. So there's people out there that wish they had another outcome if they were alive. So we can't sit here and wallow in that survivors and just, go into a dark place. It's not healthy. And so I've gone over that, and I've said, I've done videos where you make progress, and suddenly something gets thrown your way that derails your progress, and then you kind of go back to that initial feeling of anger and everything, and because things are just not working out the way that you expected. And when I talked about that, that was just normal life stuff, work, you name it, just average things, that would cause anyone stress. But for someone who's had a stroke, you have to guard your stress better because you don't want to have another stroke. And, we're just a tad bit more fragile and have to be more cognizant of, our blood pressures. We just have to guard ourselves better. And, so that's what I've been trying to do is, advocate for, mental health and you're going to go through life situations, and all this progress you made, it's going to knock it down, but you eventually you're going to build it back up. And that's all you got to think of, is that it's not knocked down forever. You can build it up. Every day is a new day, and you move on. You just have to be very intentional and in the moment. And it's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to feel sad, but it cannot be your forever. And that it's reversed where you're having a few good days, but the rest are all bad. You need to switch it around to where it's okay that you have some bad days. A topic that I never thought I would have to tackle is when something massive happens in your life that knocks your entire premise of what you've been preaching to the ground. Because I was not anticipating this. I didn't think I'd go through this. I mean, I know that down the line I would go through this, but not now. Not now. Not expecting this. So everything that I have been preaching and talking about all these things that come into our lives, and you gotta work your way. You gotta be really strong. You gotta push through it. All that went out the door when, I'll never forget it. I was sitting on the sofa and I was working, and my husband got a phone call, and it's early in the morning, and that's very random for my husband to get a phone call. And he's like, yeah, hold on, and went into another room to shut the door. And I was like, well, okay, so that's private. What's going on? And he came out and he looked very nervous and told me to close my laptop. And that's when my heart felt like it was about ready to pop out. And I was like, what is it? Just what is it? And that's when he said, your mom passed away this morning. And when he said those words, it was over. I can't even describe. I wailed. I said, no, 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 no. And the reason why my dad called my husband was because my dad was afraid that receiving this news would cause me to have a stroke. And to be honest, in the moment, I wish I did. Because I was going down that dark hole of, I don't want to know what life is like without her. Like, we all have different dynamic relationships with our parents, and my mom was my best friend. She was my best friend. I talked to her, I am not kidding you, every single day for hours, and I just don't know what on earth we even talked about, but we just talked, and we had it down to a science where, like when I would call, my mom would be watching TV and I would be driving home from work or, leaving to run an errand. And by time we were done talking, she had already, had been up cooking a meal, and I had already run to 5 stores. We were that, experienced on talking to each other and just not breaking. And we made each other laugh, and I was able to vent to her, and she vented to me about her frustrations, and we were just there for each other. And my mom was the first person I went to for everything. And I've written about this, but even when I'm sick and I know exactly what it is, I know exactly what I need to do, I still, at my age, wanted to hear it from my mom. I wanted to hear my mom's comforting voice of telling me, drink Gatorade, do this, do that. It's like, it doesn't matter how old you are, you always want your mom and your dad. You want your parents. And when I had my stroke, I called her first before I called 911, because I wanted to see her face. And she was there every single day, and I was fortunate enough that during my recovery time after my second surgery, where I was on short-term and a little bit of long-term disability, my mom came over every single day and sat with me. And it was just so nice because we just sat and I'm so glad I had a lot of solid time with her. And I'm very thankful for that. So, my dad wanted us to come over after they came in, got my mom. It's a little odd. I don't know how to explain it, but it's different when someone passes away in a hospital than at home. it's a haunting, horrible thought. I don't know if it's the psyche of it's not okay the person died, but it just seems a little like I can't even say comforting because it's not comforting. I mean, death is not comforting, but I don't know. If someone dies in a hospital, it's just a different feeling than it is than at home. And for what my dad had to do and witness the medics do, that's going to haunt him for the rest of his life. And he won't even go into detail because it's that much of a horrible thing. I am only imagining it, and I can't fathom what the hell my dad has to replay in his damn mind. And my poor father has known my mom since they were in middle school. And, you know, they're 65. It's a long time. A long time. And, you know, here's my dad who has lost the love of his life. And what is he doing? He's making sure his kids are doing okay. And it's like, you know, I'm like, how are you doing? And he's trying to make sure we're okay. And I'm like, screw how I'm doing. Like, how are you doing? But he's not letting us, like, be there for him. Because he finally put it in terms for me to understand. It's a different grief when it's your spouse. You don't understand. Like, you have a spouse to comfort you. I don't have that anymore. It's a different type of grief. So it kills me because, you know, my dad is very special to me and I love him to death, and it kills me to see him and him trying to be strong and him trying to check on each one of his kids every single day, checking on us to see how we're doing. And he's like, I just want to call and hear your voice where it's happy and not shaking. And I'm just not there yet because it's been maybe a month. And it takes forever to get into grief therapy. I'm trying to read my books and I can't pick them up because to me it just makes it more real. And so this tragic thing is not about me per se, but I am, for what I'm going through and everything that I've been feeling, where I'm like, my head feels like it's gonna explode. You know, I'm starting to have like this feeling where I feel like it's about to happen. And that's why I want to get this out, that, you know, something tragic it will happen. It's bound to happen. And it's very important for you to safeguard your health as much as possible, even though it is impossible in the moment. So it just never came, it never entered my mind, this type of issue. You know, if you can hear my dog, she's sympathizing, she's feeling my emotions. all my effort that I've ever done for stroke community is mental health, and I've tried to, like, everything that I've learned, I'm trying to say this is what I've learned and gone through, and hopefully this helps someone some way, somehow. I don't know, we're all different, we process. I'm not trying to say that one way is right, one way is wrong. I'm trying to give you a real perspective of my journey, and things that come up, and what I'm trying to do. And I thought I had it all, like, tackled every issue, but death was not one of them, because I just did not anticipate death. So this is a this is hard, man. This is so hard. And as much as I really don't want to talk about it, because the more I say things, I don't know, it makes it worse. I feel that it's important for me to share my story, because this is going to be a factor eventually down the line, and how we react to it. We have to be very careful. And I know it sounds, when I say we have to be very careful, like we're a bunch of weaklings, and we're far from that. We're very strong people, but I mean, we have to be more protective, because even healthy people who hear about, someone that they truly deeply love pass away, they have blood pressure spikes. It's just a body experience of shock. And for someone who's healthy, they will go through weird stuff. But with having a stroke, we've got to watch that blood pressure. We can't handle grief the same way as a normal person would handle grief, because we have to be a little selfish and think about ourselves. And that sounds awful when I say it out loud, that we have to be selfish and guard ourselves and protect ourselves, but still grieve for what we have lost. So it's so tricky. It's just mind blowing. I don't know. It's like I've had friends who've lost their parents, and you never know what to say to them, and you're like, I just don't understand that loss. And one of my good friends lost her father last year, and I just was like, I can't even imagine how she feels, because I would be a total mess if that ever happened to me. And who would have thought a year later it did? And now I understand that you don't know that level of pain until it actually happens. And so it is awful. It's awful. And I have just gone through a lot of different phases of, um, where I'm numb, I'm depressed, I don't find joy, I'm there's some joy that does seep in. I mean, there are some people that manage to make me laugh. And if you do see me laughing, you did a good job, because my laugh, that is a genuine laugh. Um, or smile. That's a genuine smile. That's not forced, because laughter and smiles are not forced for me. Those are genuine. So people have managed to do that, help me in certain situations, but um, you know, I I'm hoping I get to a point where I'm not replaying the moment I was told over in my head, and I want that gone, and I want to be able to go over to I'm still gonna call it my parents' home. I'm not. It will always just. I'm just gonna refer it to my parents' home. Um, when I go over there, I'm highly triggered, and I go into shock, and I start crying, and I am zoned out because I'm in shock. I'm looking at all my mom's stuff, and I can't bear it. And now I am helping my father out by letting their dog out twice a week. So I go into the house, and while I'm letting her out, I walk around and I'm touching all her stuff, and I'm crying. And I sit on the stairs, and I just cry and cry and cry. And then I'm like, get up. And I eventually just want to go in there and look at stuff and smile and have happy memories, you know. That's the point that I hope that I get to, that, you know, I'm able to look at things of my mom's and go, oh, and not be triggered on a totally psychopath crying fit and helpless feeling. Right now, my dad, he can't look at pictures. I can handle the pictures. I have a picture of my mom that faces directly at me while I work, and I look over at her smiling face, and it gives me comfort. Sometimes it makes me cry, but it does give me comfort. Um, you know, there's things that I'm doing. We all want to cling on to something that's like a memory, and I wrote a blog that I bought, like, um, my mom, she lost her mom in 2008, and they had a very close relationship, and it was very hard on my mom when her mom passed away, because, it was a medical error that happened. And my mom felt robbed, and it was very hard for my mom. And eventually she had acceptance, and then she got into the point where she was joking around about stuff about her mom. And I wrote about this, that during my recovery, it was starting to get warm out, so we sat on my fantastic patio, and a red cardinal came, and my mom was like, "It's a red cardinal," and I said, "Yeah." She goes, That's a sign that I know that my mom is here. I said, that's wonderful. So, red cardinal is going to be my sign. So I hope to find a red cardinal. So I found a necklace it's a red cardinal. I wear it every day, and it's got a little inscription about heaven, you know, about a loved one. And then I wrote it, my mom's birthstone happens to be a diamond, and I didn't want to get a diamond, so it's like this Hawaiian like crystal like diamond type, I don't know. So to me it's just a reminder of my mom. And so I am going to be very upfront and honest to say that have I thought about thoughts of I can't live anymore? Yeah, I have. Did I have plans to do that? No. No. No, because that's not the type of person I am. But I went in that dark space of I can't live without her. So whatever happens, it just happens. And I think a lot of people do that. The difference is you need immediate assistance. If you actually are thinking about it and want to have a plan, you need to get yourself checked in. Me, no, nothing like that. I'm just shouting out like, you know, like, oh, I can't live without her, you know, and stuff like that. And that's a dark thought, but I can live with the memory of her, and thankful for 39 years with her. I believe it was in 2009 my mom had an ischemic colon issue where she was bleeding, and my brother found her, and at that point we thought she was gonna pass away. And it's been explained to us that in combination with other stuff that really we were bought extra time. That's not comforting to me. I don't accept that. If that helps other people out, sure. But, you know, to say your mother's dead, but, you know, you were given time. That don't work for me. Doesn't fly, so I don't want to hear it. I'm thankful for the 39 years I had with her, and that is what I want to hear. I don't want to hear about borrowed time. I don't want to hear about any of that stuff, you know. So there are certain things that I have to put my foot down on that, like, you know, I don't want to hear it. It's just, I am thankful I had a mother that loved me. I'm glad I had the relationship that I had with my mother. I'm glad I got to speak to her every single day. I'm glad I had her. You know, I lucked out, and I feel so blessed that, you know, she was my mom, and I had 39 years with her, and, you know, I feel robbed. I feel absolutely robbed. I promised my mom, and this was in joking, like I joke with them all the time about like stuff I do for them. I turn it into some drama fest, like watering their plants. But I said, I'm gonna be your child that will take care of you into your elderly years, and I'll get to do that. I hope to God I do with my father. Um, I don't get that with my mom. The other mind blow that I'm dealing with is that, my mom got sick a month ago, and she just wasn't getting better. And I begged her to go to the emergency room so many times. But, you know, um, I think that probably would have made, I think it would have made it worse, to be honest, to be exposed in a hospital with a lot of people in hindsight. But she wasn't getting better, and, you know, she finally did see a primary care doctor. That's a whole another issue that I've got to make peace with myself. But anyways, they pulmonary edema, fluid buildup, and on Lasix, and um, my mom's got heart problems. And to me, when I found out she was on Lasix, I said, does your cardiologist know about this, or can you consult with a pulmonologist and stuff? And oh yeah, yeah. And then things just kept on getting weird. So I think there were little indicators that things were not right. And the week that she passed, I went and personally saw her, and she had lost 20 pounds from Lasix. And that was very concerning to me. So I had called her, um, the next day, and really pleaded for her to seek attention. And then I called her the next day and asked her, and she said, I have a doctor's appointment on Thursday. And I said, with whom? The primary care doctor. And I said, you really need to get labs drawn to check your levels, because Lasix is nothing to mess around with if you've got heart problems. I mean, that's can send you into cardiac arrest. But I told her, I said, um, if you get it checked and get it worked out, I said it can be fixed. And so yeah, I said things can get better, and this will haunt me for the rest of my life, and this might be part of the reason why I am struggling so hard, is that my mom's very last words to me were, I don't want to die. And that is just mind blowing. And I told her, you're not. And I lied, because the next day she died.
You know, I don't know. There's just there's a lot of things. I'm like replaying the whole illness part out, and you know, my mom got, you know, just like a cold, you know, and she just wasn't handling it right. And, um, you know, I thought, oh my God, she's got COVID, and, you know, she didn't have COVID, and, you know, adult RSV is going around. So, keep that in the back of your minds, please. Um, you know, and that's what she had. And, you know, she's got comorbidities, and her body just wasn't right. And, you know, um, there was some neurologic stuff going on where, um, oh God, I will never forget it. It was into her sickness a month ago, or well, I guess we can say 2 months because it's been about a month since she passed. Um, she and I were talking, and she just started talking about like dancing bugs. And at first, I thought she was just messing with me because she tortures me with bug stories. I mean, I always tell her, I'm like, I'm not afraid of bugs. I'm afraid of the stinking things that sting. But so I thought she was just messing with me. But when she was talking, it was clear that this was not messing with me. And, you know, that night, you know, my dad called me and asked me, you know, did your mom seem off to you when you talked to her? And I said, yeah, she was talking about dancing bugs. And my dad said that she was talking about inviting her mom over for dinner, who, as I've said, passed away in 2008. And then he sent a video of my mom just kind of rocking back and forth. And I immediately got in my car and went straight over there. And, you know, it seemed like my mom was getting to being more coherent. You know, I just think that, you know, she was dehydrated. You know, she does not like to drink water, and that's a fight that my dad and I have been having with my mom forever. Even though, my God, the woman asked me, "Are you drinking water all the time?" I mean, it's just really. And so I think there were other issues going on before this. And I don't know if they were known and just not said, or something, just a lot of, you know, I don't know. I am just, it really, no matter what, it's not going to bring my mom back, period. Okay. And that's the thing. And you know, I've already kind of had a squabble about the treatment of her seeing a primary care physician, overseeing a specialist, and having a primary care physician treat someone who's got major comorbidity issues, especially really bad heart problems, and you know, being put on Lasix. And you know, to me, that's something that needs to be monitored closely by a cardiologist, and not, we'll see you like a month later or whatever, and then do some lab values on you. To me, that is gross negligence.
And I can't get into it anymore because it's just, you know, uh, it's not going to change anything. Which makes me, and so that's what I'm saying. I'm like circling in my head, like, did my mom know something else was going on with her and she's protecting us and not telling us? Like, like this just all like kind of went south. And just little odd things that happen, that like seem to fall in place, kind of like closure in a way for each one of us in some sort of way. Um, as a family, as we were talking about it, just, you know, I'll never know. I don't want to ask my dad, was something else going on that, we didn't know about. It doesn't matter. Again, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. And I'm not trying to make my dad's life even more traumatic than it is because he is alone. Um, and I said, you're not alone. You've got 6 kids. And, but like I said, alone is different, like having a spouse, it's different. So, and the other part is the holidays. My mom is a holiday fanatic, and um, in their house, they had a family room Christmas tree, they had a dining room Christmas tree, they had a kitchen Christmas tree, they had an upstairs hallway Christmas tree, they had a Christmas tree in their bedroom, and I'm not sure, but I believe there was a Christmas tree in the basement. She lived for the holidays. It was her favorite thing in the world. And she decorated. And, when my sister and I were going through photos, we started like kind of seeing where my mom shopping habits picked up on collectibles. And we're like, wow, it really expanded during the, like, in 1995, there were only X amount of nutcrackers on the mantle. And then by 1998, it was like the whole mantle. I mean, and it's a long mantle, just full. And I mean, it was a holiday store. You could put price tags on there. But, um, so the holidays, my mom made it special. And like I said, it was not about gifts. It was Christmas Eve. Our tradition was we go over there, we have our big meal. Back, in the days, we would, as a family, get in the car and go look at all the Christmas lights in all the neighborhoods. We continued that on. My husband and I kind of stopped doing it, 4 years ago. Um, and then Christmas morning, we would go over there, and, that's where we opened up gifts, and then we had a breakfast. It was just a tradition. Thanksgiving, was a big deal. It was the kickoff. My mom was a wonderful cook, and her food was just amazing. She made everything so special. And so I don't know how I'm gonna handle the holidays. I've my dad is not celebrating this year. Um, each one of the family, the kids are doing their own little thing. I've opted to not celebrate the holidays this year. I told my husband, go celebrate with your family. I don't want to ruin holidays, but I want him to understand that I'm not decorating this year for the holidays. It's too painful because one, it's only been a month and it's just, it's standard for me. I think usually right after Halloween, I put up my Christmas decorations because it's a lot of effort and I want to enjoy it. And I don't want to look at a single holiday decoration. I can't watch normal TV. I can't listen to, as soon as I hear the jingle jingle commercials, I'm like, I'm done, I'm out, I'm checked out. At stores, I know what sections to avoid. I don't want to look at anything holiday related, period. Nothing. I want nothing to do with Christmas colors, you name it. I want nothing to do with it. This is my year. I'm taking a break. And yet I'm being told that, I can't do that. And that's where, there's a battle of we are all very uniquely different on how we handle grief. And for me, I will resume holidays next year. I need a break. This is fresh for me. My mom, in my mind, is still, I'm picturing her in a casket and in the ground. So to celebrate the holidays, just not setting right, okay? Because I still have this horrendous, awful visual. And I will never forget when I walked into that room at the funeral home and saw her casket. I just wanted to drop. Just drop. So it's fresh for me. It's fresh. So I have to take a break. I have to take a break. Everyone processes their grief differently. And I'm processing it differently because I had a stroke and I need to keep my mental level stable to where my blood pressure is not going to go up. And I'm not going to work myself up because if I go attend a holiday event, it's going to trigger emotions for me and I'm safeguarding myself. But the healthy thing is I will resume holidays next year. It's not like I'm done with holidays forever. I need a break and I need people to respect that break that I have to take for myself. So that's what you got to do. As someone who's gone through a stroke, it's like you understand your limitations. I hope by now. If you haven't, you're going to learn your limitations. So, you're going to understand. You're going to be in tune with your body and you're going to know what you can and cannot handle. So I know that in this moment, I can't do holidays this year. It's going to be too heartbreaking. Even if it's with my husband's family, I cannot handle it. I will. And after the holidays, my sister and I have the horrendous task of going through everything of my mother's and divvying out in boxes and everything and organizing so each family member can go through and pick out what they want, and I've emotionally got to prepare myself for that whole ordeal, and God help me on that. Thankfully it's with my sister, and that will help me get through because I was given the task to pick out pictures for my mom's funeral. And when I was up there going through the photos, I felt like the earth was crashing. And as soon as my sister came up the stairs, it was so nice because we were just looking at pictures and we were laughing. So I really need my sister um, more than ever to, like we need to work together on getting things organized. Um, that's going to be a hard part. Hard part because it just makes it more final. It just makes it more final. And like I said, I called for grief therapy. Um, and it's a waiting list. And um, I had a 40-minute consultation to determine what type of therapy you need. And I honestly thought they were going to put me in intensive therapy, but they, I guess I responded in ways like, I understand. Here's where we have the advantage. Um, I understand a different type of grief, and I know how the grief circle works, and I know that I've built up tools to help me get through emotions, and I understand it never ends, but it gets better, and stuff like that. And I think because I said those words, I think they're like, I think you understand. And I talked about, cognitive behavior therapy, about, um, thinking this way, extreme, and what the reality is, and coming to a middle ground in my thought process. So they said, I'm qualified for just regular one-on-one therapy, and there's like 4 people ahead of me, so I'm on a waiting list. So, but they gave me information on how to get through the holidays, and also to prepare yourself on going through a loved one's belongings. Um, so, um, that will be helpful. But when, making that call made it, it just made it more real for me. Just each task that I have to get through, it just makes it more real for me. And as much as I want to be there, and I'm a protector by nature. I'm a protector. As much as I want to protect everyone and be there for everyone, and push, I if I see other people in pain, I push my stuff to the side. Like, to me, I don't care about how I feel. I get that from my mom. I don't care how I feel. I'm focused on you. Like, how are you feeling? How are you doing? And this is the point where I gotta sit there and say, stop. You have to be protecting yourself, because you went through a stroke, and the type of stroke almost killed you, and this type of stroke can happen again, and you don't want that to happen again. I don't want it to happen again. I don't want to inflict pain on my family even more, which is why my dad is overly concerned about how I'm handling all of this. And there's times I've got to lie to my dad and say I'm okay, but I can't lie to my dad because he can hear it in my voice. And it's just such a just messed up. It's so messed up. It just is. And I have to think on stupid words that it's better to love and loss than to never love, you know, and it's a price we pay. For love. And I'm gonna have to say that I have to accept that. I'm paying the price because it was worth it for those years I had with my mom, and I really did think that I was gonna have more time with her. She had health issues, knew that, just did not expect 65, just didn't, you know, even in her illness, even though deep down, you know how there's that voice in your head that's like, it's not right, it's not right. Deep down, I knew things weren't right, and I just didn't want to admit it to myself. God love her. She kept she still had humor to her to the last moment. That I get from my mom. Find humor in every situation. I'm very well constructed in my thought process. I get that from my dad. So that's pretty much where I am at. I know that I have blogged about it, and honestly, it's something that I've missed writing. And writing was such a go-to thing for me when I had my stroke, and helped me really internalize things and move forward. And then, you know, eventually I was like, I would rather do video because you know, it's not scripted, so I'm just really speaking from the heart. I'm not sitting there thinking, you know, as I'm writing. Although some of the blogs, you can tell that I'm not thinking because I reread them and I'm like, what the heck was I saying? But I think the videos are more authentic, even if they're long. So as I navigate through this part of my life of adjusting, accepting, finding joy, caring about myself. It's a big one. Caring about myself. That's what I gotta do. And I've said in my blogs, my mom has always told me, I mean, she was always proud of me for everything. I mean, could draw a stick figure and she'd be like, I'm so proud of you. And that's all I can do is draw. I'm a graphic art designer. I do graphic arts. I cannot draw. My sister can draw. She's amazing at drawing. I cannot. My mom was a great artist, but no, I didn't get that. But graphic art is my go-to. I love graphic art design. but my mom always, she would always say, I'm proud of you, with everything. But she really emphasized how proud she was of me when I had my stroke, because day one, when I came to it, out of whatever la la land, I was smiling, I was upbeat, I was like, so nice to the staff, like the nurses, the janitors, just everyone. They called me Sunshine. I wrote down everything. I was like, I'm not going to forget a single thing, because as soon as I get out of here, my God, I am telling my story. And it became more clear to me, because I have said this and I've said this and I've said this. They do not give you any type of mental health support, like what to expect. I mean, I did a video segment with my book that was like a paragraph, like, you will go through depression. A little warning of something. And that's what I'm trying to push for, is I really want there to be a strong emphasis on support of like literature, something, whatever, like you do need to have mental health in place, even if you feel like you have a good hold. It's good to get mental. It's like a annual physical exam of making sure everything looks great, getting blood drawn. Is your cholesterol great, all that. Mental health is the same way. You need to do checks. You got to do checks. Everyone seems to think that just what we do to our bodies is what gets us going. No, it's here. This thinking, what we do, that's what keeps us going. What's up here is what makes us as a person. That's how we react. That's how we do things. It's all up here. So mental health check, very important. After stroke, that is so important to have that done. So that's why I advocate for that stuff. That's why I push for it. And that's why I want to talk about it. And I want to be upfront. And when I hit hurdles, I want to vocalize those hurdles, because if I can just reach one person, that's all that matters to me. And, God forbid, every day there's going to be someone new. And if they're Googling, and I'll be on page 22, but, if you find me, you can hear someone else's story and see, what did this person go through? Maybe my stuff won't match what you need, but it's just another perspective. But if I can just reach out to one person, that's what I want. So the reason why I'm choosing to talk about this right now is that I feel right now in the moment, just in the moment, that I feel a little bit stronger that I can talk about this out loud, about what I'm going through, and that we will be faced with a very traumatic event. And with that, our coping is going to be different than someone else, because we have to watch our blood pressure. We have to watch everything, because we don't want to have another stroke. So that's why to me, a death of a loved one is a very personal thing. It's something I really would generally not share to everyone. But I feel that it is important, and keeping that open policy that I have, that if I go through something, I'm going to explain it, because I just want to make sure that people understand the work that is needed and what to expect. And it may not go that way for you, but don't give up is my message to you. As much as I want to sit there and throw in the towel and be like, screw this, since the start of 2020, it has been nothing but horrible. You know, I had my stroke, had 2 brain surgeries, COVID, the world's falling apart, the political nightmare. It's just a nightmare all around. Doesn't matter which way you lean. I'm not saying one way is right or whatever. I'm just saying there's just a lot of heaviness going on. So, and then, my mom passing, it just sucks. And it sucks. And I just want to throw in the towel and say, I just screw it. And then I'm like, no, that's not me. I'm not one to throw in the towel. I will get through this. And I'm going to continue to make my mom proud. And most importantly, I need to make myself proud. And that's what I'm going to do. So I apologize that this was extra long, just due to the nature of what's going on. I'm kind of in and out of it, like I'm, either really writing or, I'm avoiding social media. I might post my stuff, but then I'm immediately off because I'm trying to avoid looking at holiday stuff. To be honest, guys, I don't want to look at holiday stuff. It just makes me sick. I just never thought, like, watching, I always watch the news, and like now the Christmas commercials are coming in during the morning news. So at least I have a prompt where it goes, stupid sleigh bells, and I'm just like, off. So I think from here on out, I don't care about the news anymore. I've got WeatherBug. I can check the weather. Who even cares about that? I'm working from home. So don't even need that. So I think I might be oblivious to the news, to keep away from the TV and holiday stuff. If there's shows that I like, I can watch it on Hulu, all the streaming services. And, I think I'm just going to watch Schitt's Creek over and 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 over again. Was The Office, but now I feel like, Schitt's Creek is just more up my alley. So anyways, I will say I am very blessed that I have wonderful friends who have been very supportive. My coworkers, absolutely wonderful. Work for a mega corporation, and I just happen to land in the jackpot of like a team that really cares. So I thank them so much. And my family, we're supporting each other, but we're all like kind of dealing with this in our own way. And my husband's family has been very, very supportive and checking on me. And most of all, my husband has been a huge rock for me. So loving, very tender, very understanding. I couldn't ask for a better spouse for this ordeal. I mean, he's just been absolutely wonderful. and and then the stroke community, and then people that I've you know formed pretty good friendships with too have been absolutely wonderful. So I feel lucky that I have that, and that actually puts a smile on my face. So thank you to everyone who has reached out. So it really means a lot to me. So this is just a lot of stuff to process within a 2-year period of things, of adjusting. So, just gotta make the most of your life, make the most of your life, make it count, make everything count. Right now in this moment, I'm not feeling it, but I will. I'm telling you, I will, and I'm gonna make it count. I'm gonna make everything count. If this doesn't drive me even more, I have a lot of goals. There's so much. This is a huge wake up call. So, but I will have more vlogs, I'm sure, as I process the holiday time. I'm sure I'll reflect on that, but I am gonna do some work that I have told people that I would help out and share where I'm at stroke wise.